And I'm Josh.
And this is Alter Ego Comics TV, a special previews spotlight edition for the June 2015 copy of the Previews catalog. This is the monster catalog that everybody orders out of for comic shops. Whether it's the retailer or the consumer, we all order out of the same catalog, which makes no sense whatsoever. But it comes out usually the last week of each month and highlights products that will be shipping approximately 2 months later. Your mileage may vary on that. Sometimes if it's a t-shirt or a statue or a figure, it could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months later. But for the sake of simpleness, most of the things we're talking about will be shipping during the month of August. So, what is the Previews catalog? Hold up the Previews catalog.
This attractive volume consists of over 400 pages of content.
I think it's over 500 pages. Maybe over 600 pages. It's getting thicker.
592, 550, 580, plus another 100 pages in Marvel.
Marvel has their own previews because
they don't play well with
too
others.
good to be in the same catalog next to DC or anybody else. But the Previews catalog costs you the same as a comic book. $3.99 is chock full of all kinds of cool stuff. Comics, graphic novels, games, apparel, toys, posters, knickknacks, paddywhacks, dog bones. They're all in there. We've said this before. I think we've only done one other episode like this where we reviewed.
I think we've done 2.
Maybe 2. I get as much enjoyment out of going through the new Previews catalog every month as I do reading most comics. So it is super cool and a good bathroom companion. So we're going to highlight the things that jumped out at us. Now these are things that may have interest to me personally, the things that I think are just kind of cool, and that's kind of what I focused on. So we're going to start with Dark Horse Comics. They're in the front section of the Previews catalog, and there were 3 things for me, and then we'll do your Dark Horse stuff if that's all right with you.
Sure.
The first, and we may have some duplicates here. He-Man, we didn't compare notes before doing this because that's how we roll.
I thought that was going to be He-Man, We Didn't Start the Fire,
He-Man,
which is a miniseries I would read.
It's actually Hey Man, We Didn't Start the Fire, and nice shot. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe mini comic collection hardcover. Dark Horse published a Masters of the Universe retrospective of sorts, a giant hardcover, recently that sold very well, and there was a lot of interest in it. So now they are collecting the He-Man mini comics. These came with the He-Man action figures back in the 1980s, along with commentary by certain folks. Now, I can't tell from the solicitation, but they have people listed on this like Tim Seeley and Robert Kirkman. So I don't know if they were writing for the He-Man comics or if they're just contributing comments to this.
There's
Kirkman's
no way they
like
could have been
our
writing
age,
back in the
so,
day.
yeah. Kirkman's my age.
But
so
they
he
could have done
been,
inserts in the new ones when they did the re-releases or something.
Maybe. I don't know if those are included in there. But it is, if you're a He-Man or Masters of the Universe fan, this is a must-buy as far as I'm concerned. Super cool looking. Next up for me is Usagi Yojimbo Gallery Edition Volume 1, Samurai and Other Stories by Stan Sakai. Now, a Gallery Edition is just like an Artist Edition from IDW or whatever, an Artifact Edition or all these other editions, which are basically reproductions of the original artwork for a certain series and characters and artists. This one is all about Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai. So if you're a fan of that character, you want to definitely check this out. Oversized hardcover, reprinting the original artwork for Samurai and Other Stories. Finally, this series looks interesting to me. It's called This Damned Band. This Damned Band, number 1 of 6, written by Paul Cornell, artwork by Tony Parker. And this is listed as, in 1972, the world's most famous rock band thought that they were worshiping Satan, only to find out they were actually worshiping Satan. Kind of curious to see where this goes. The artwork that's listed, the preview artwork, makes it look like Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. So we'll see. It sounds like an interesting concept. I'll check it out.
Yeah, and I'm especially excited because that's written by Paul Cornell, who, in addition to writing comics for ever, has written some of my favorite Doctor Who episodes as well. So lots of great stuff from Cornell. Let's see, what do I like this month? We've got issue 2 of the Eatingville Club. Now, obviously, we didn't do this last month, so we didn't talk about issue 1, but issue 1 is also exciting for me. I didn't just start with 2. But this is written and drawn by Evan Dorkin, who I love best from Beasts of Burden, and you may also remember as a writer on Space Ghost Coast to Coast and Superman, the animated series. But it's basically about a group of sci-fi friends, and it's just humorous kind of slice-of-life geek stuff. There's a giant D20 on the cover, which is all it really takes to get me to show up. Also, now the thing about previews is I don't know if this stuff's good or not. All I know is what I read made me want to read the comic, so that's what I'm laying on you. These could be terrible recommendations.
Do not hold us responsible. It's not like our regular episodes where we actually read the stuff and then recommend stuff that we like. We're just going by the promotional verbiage and images that are in the previous catalog. So don't hold us responsible.
And based on that information, I'm pretty amped for Zodiac Star Force #1, written by and drawn by a bunch of people I've never heard of. But basically, it is... I'm illiterate. This is from the people who worked on Bravest Warriors.
That's why he likes
the comic
it.
series. It's not. But no, it's basically Sailor Moon in high school. You know, you've got young girls with cosmic powers fighting off monsters. So, you know, it's for fans of Buffy or Lumberjanes, Sailor Moon. Those are all the things
Gem
to
and the
say.
Hologram.
It just looks cool and fun. And I really did like the Bravest Warriors stuff. I didn't see that connection until I read the other part there. And my last one, or my first one, depending on which direction you're counting from, is a new book from Fabio Moon and Gabriel Ba, who did Day Tripper, which I really liked. And this is called Two Brothers. It's going straight to hardcover format. And I believe this was already released in other countries, and it's now been translated into English. But Ba and Moon are great storytellers. They work well together, and they're great at doing kind of personal, real-life stuff, although this one seems like there may be some non-normal universe. But basically, you've got two brothers, one of whom who had a falling out. Their parents sent them away to live in, like, the other side of the planet somehow, because that happens sometimes. Lebanon. They're from South America. And then years later, he comes back, you know, not really knowing his family, and it's about family dynamics and the change, and it just really sounded cool. Plus, I have great faith in the creators.
Excellent. Moving right along, the next section in the previews catalog is DC Comics, and there is a new series that has been inspired by the DC Comics Bombshells statue line, and that is called, oddly enough, DC Comics Bombshells #1, and the series takes place in an alternate reality where World War II is fought by superpowered women on the front lines and behind the scenes.
That's not our reality? I was misled.
Yes, that's the reality that Josh dreams of. But the cover artwork looks amazing. The characters have really caught on with comic fans, as we've seen with statues and variant covers and wallets and throw rugs and all kinds of stuff featuring the bombshells. So look for that one. Also, during the month of August, DC is doing another month of bombshell variant covers, and they look awesome. It's not just the women of the DC universe. They've kind of got retro 40s inspired covers for all kinds of stuff. There's one featuring Sinestro as like the dancing machine or something. Aquaman is on there shirtless holding a trident.
And saluting, I believe. Yes.
Looking like a member of the Navy from the 1940s. So look for the Bombshells variants in August, and if you're local and you want to request those, please do, so that we make sure we order enough so that you can get them. All right, Scooby-Doo Team Up Volume 2 is coming out in August, and this is just a great series, an all-ages series that young and old can enjoy. In this volume of Scooby-Doo Team Up, we get Scooby and the gang teaming up with not just the Flintstones, but also the Jetsons in two separate stories, and also Superman. So not all together. This isn't a massive team-up between the future, the past, and the Man of Tomorrow. This is a Scooby-Doo and the gang teaming up with these three kind of timeless groups of characters. All kinds of fun stuff. What else? We've got, for those of you that still read Mad Magazine, or maybe read Mad Magazine back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, this really jumped out at me as something really cool. They're publishing something called Mad's Original Idiots, and they're trade paperbacks spotlighting the work of people like Jack Davis and Wally Wood and Will Elder. So if you're a fan, the one that jumped out at me was Wally Wood, because everybody has this kind of regard for Wally Wood's artwork, whether it was with Mad Magazine or with the EC horror books or all over the place. So those to your pull list. The first volume of Flash Season 0 is coming out in softcover. The series and single issues has been selling very well, and this is, I honestly haven't read any of these. What is Season 0 about? If Season 1 is Barry as the Flash, what is Season 0 about? You haven't read it either. Pick it up. It's selling well, and we all love the Flash TV series, so there's that.
And then you have a lot of the creators from the series overseeing the series as well. From the TV show, overseeing the comic book.
DC. I'm stealing all of Josh's DC thunder probably here, but because I'm talking about everything. DC continues their line of incredibly cool book and mask sets in the new catalog with a Deathstroke trade paperback and a Deathstroke mask. So I'm sure that's going to sell very well with the popularity of Deathstroke. Now, the volume that's included is the current Deathstroke Volume 1, written and drawn by Tony Daniel.
Which is really good. The previous ones, the book and mask usually come out after the regular version came out singly, but is that even out in trade by itself yet?
I think so. Oh, you know what?
It's not the New 52, it's the Tony Daniel one that's only on like issue 7.
I don't know which one it is. They may be. I gotta go back and look at it, but Josh will investigate that while I speak.
Gods of War, that looks like...
That's the new one, right?
Yeah, that looks like the new one to me.
Yeah. Okay, Crisis on Infinite Earths Deluxe Edition hardcover. This is an oversized hardcover collecting one of the greatest DC stories of all time, and will fit perfectly in my collection of oversized hardcovers. And finally, speaking of The Flash and how much I love it, there is a Central City Police badge replica in the catalog this month. Very reasonably priced. It's $35, and is a cool prop replica if you're a fan of The Flash TV show.
He really did steal a lot of my stuff.
I think he took his wallet.
I think he took my wallet, my Flash badge. Dr. Fate number 3. This is a new Fate series. Obviously, this is issue 3 of it, but it hasn't started yet in the physical world. And it is written by Paul Levitz, who is a longtime DC scribe. But I really like the flavor we're seeing. It looks like more kind of the same kind of reboot we saw with Batgirl and with Gotham Academy. I guess isn't really a reboot, but that kind of aimed at a younger audience, a little more tongue-in-cheek, kind of self-aware stuff, and it just looks like a lot of fun. I love Dr. Fate, which doesn't hurt at all, and he could use a good run. Oh. Dude, I need me a $600 Dr. Fate helmet. And the only other thing Mark didn't poach from me is a stuffed Dexar. Dexar, of course, being the cat Red Lantern who is filled with rage and spews blood and is a fan favorite. And now we're getting a little 9-inch of him. They're doing a Streaky also, Supergirl's cat. And these will be in the same scale roughly as the Crypto they're doing for San Diego Comic-Con, which we will have, which also looks super cool.
Yes. All right, all kinds of cool stuff in the DC section. Pay specific attention to the DC collectibles section. Cool figures and prop replicas and statues, etc. Next up is Image Comics for me. Now, because we didn't do this last month, I have to talk about We Stand on Guard, which is the new series from the best writer in comics, Brian K. Vaughan, with art by Steve Scroce, or Scroce, or Scroce, or Jim Croce. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's highly regarded. This is a slightly futuristic story that involves the U.S. and Canada being at war, and that's all I know. All I need to know is that it's a new series by Brian K. Vaughan, and that should be all you need to know as well. We were talking about this in the shop the other day, and how we're going to try to get this into everybody's hands in the shop, because there really hasn't been a bad Brian K. Vaughan series in the last 15 years that's been creator-owned. So some of the work-for-hire work, not incredibly awesome, but the creator-owned stuff, off the charts. Also in the Image Comics section, The Walking Dead #1 giant-sized artist proof edition. Now this is, again, the size of the original art for The Walking Dead #1. Pencils by Tony Moore, black and white. If you're a Walking Dead fan, this is a no-brainer. Super, super cool. And then finally, this one blew me away. Witchblade Redemption, Volume 1 through 4 set. This is 640 pages of amazing Witchblade storytelling by Ron Mars and Stepan Stepjic. I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry. $19.99, $20 for 640 pages of hand to heart, some of the best comics out there. Witchblade, Ron Mars' run on Witchblade is incredibly awesome. So if you can find all the volumes, get them. But you can pick up this box set for $19.99. I will.
All right. One thing, when we skipped over IDW, you also skipped Long Distance, which we didn't get to talk about last month. Right? We didn't talk about this.
No.
Okay. So Long Distance is a new series, a mini from Tom Zoller, writer, artist, cover artist, colorer, inker, does the whole shebang.
Singer, dancer.
Yes, friend of the store. We've had him in a couple times.
Star Trek fan.
Great guy. And this is actually based on a script he wrote for a sitcom, kind of a Sorkin-esque thing. And it was really good. We've actually gotten to read the first issue. I really liked it. The first issue, it doesn't street until next month? Might be later in June.
Second week of June, I think.
Okay, so not too far out.
June 12th?
But yeah, so you've got a couple that meet in an airport, and it's about a long-distance relationship in the age of Twitter and Facebook and all of the other social medias. And it is funny and poignant and just awesome and full, just chock full of neat... I was going to say nerd and geek references, and it got combined into a word. There's a bunch of nerdy stuff in here that's awesome. And then over in Image section, of course, I'm amped about Phonogram, #1, The Immaterial Girl. This is from the team of Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey, who you may remember from Phonogram Volume 1 and Phonogram Volume 2, Marvel's Young Avengers, and, of course, The Wicked and the Vine, which is what they're currently known best for, and was nominated for Eisner.
An Academy Award, I believe.
Yes, one of those also. Phonogram is a world set in the 80s, 90s Britpop era in which music actually is magic. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Kieran Gillen really has a thing for that.
He loves magic.
But yeah, if you like Wicked and Divine, this is going to be right up your alley. And the last one, and this is another question mark, but very interesting sounding from Image, we've got Beauty #1. This is the world where there is a sexually transmitted disease that makes you more beautiful, more attractive, your face more symmetrical, your hair fuller and more awesome, until one day maybe it doesn't. And it just was a neat idea. How would people react with that? No one I've ever heard of on here. We got a cover by Jenny Frison. I know who that is.
Jeremy Hahn's an artist, I think. But anyway.
Well,
I'm sorry.
But it sounds pretty cool. It's an interesting concept.
Sounds like something Josh would
and
like
I'd like
to
to see where they go. Let me tell you about the sexually transmitted disease.
Alrighty, I am on to the Marvel Comics section.
Why do you hate previews?
There's just so much in there. I didn't want to make this an hour-long episode. I'm sorry. I just can't do that every time. I got stuff to do. Princess Leia Volume 1 is out from Marvel. If you're not reading it in single issues, what's wrong with you? This is the series by Mark Waid and Terry Dodson, exploring what happens with Princess Leia Organa at the end of Episode 4. And it's just really, really good. Good stuff. So pick up Volume 1 when it comes out in August. A-Force Presents Volume 1. This looks kind of cool. A-Force is one of the new Secret Wars series that's currently being published. Issue #1 is out, and I imagine it's going to continue post-Secret Wars, but I could be wrong, involving a bunch of the superwomen of the Marvel Universe. So A-Force Presents Volume 1 collects the first issues of Black Widow, Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, the current series of Thor, and Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. So that is a great starter package for anybody looking to get into cool books being published by Marvel. So looking forward to that. AKA Jessica Jones, Volumes 1 and 2. Jessica Jones, AKA Jessica Jones, is the name of the next Netflix series that Marvel is doing in the world of Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. So Marvel is re-releasing the trades, which were previously clearanced, re-releasing trades which have actually been out of print for a while. Which is really good stuff. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis, artwork by Alex Maleev, if I'm not mistaken, or Michael Lark, or one of those guys.
I don't think he does all of it, but he does most of it, I believe.
But it's good. It's mature content, but it's Bendis writing the heck out of some great, familiar, new characters yet and familiar characters from the Marvel Universe. So we'll be stocking it. I would suggest ordering it before the series starts. I think that hits the airwaves. Is it 2016 or 2017?
I heard a rumor it'd be before the end of the year.
What?
Oh.
Okay. AKA Jessica Jones, Volumes 1 and 2. Well, apparently, it's probably going to be like an August, September type of thing. But check them out.
You're done?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you even look at the Marvel section?
I did look at the Marvel section, but it's all Secret Wars.
It's no first print.
There's lots of new #1s.
The only other thing that jumped out at me is that there is a Years of Future Past poster by Art Adams, which
looks cool.
Looks super cool.
Yeah, no. Among the new #1s we're getting from Secret Wars, the one I was actually most interested in was probably the House of M. It's written by Dennis Hopeless, who I've been enjoying lately, and the House of M universe is just always fun.
And Hopeless did Inferno, which came out this week,
and was pretty freaking good.
So he's all over the X universe.
Yeah.
All right.
That was it. I mean, yeah, Marvel. There's a lot of stuff in here that's going to be good, but it's mostly
we're
fifth
in the
and sixth
middle. We're
issues,
in the middle
so.
of a bunch of Secret Wars stuff, which again has been very, very good. Finally, my final item. This is my final item out of the entire rest of previews because I didn't want to talk forever. is the autobiography of James T. Kirk. You knew it had to be in there. So, written by James T. Kirk, his autobiography. I cannot wait for this to come out. I think it comes out in September. But this is a novel, an autobiography, no pictures, presumably, with an afterword written by Kirk's lifelong friend, Spock. I can't wait to read this. If you're a Star Trek fan, I'm sure you're just as excited as I am, but this is a public service announcement that the autobiography of James T. Kirk can be ordered at your local comic shop.
Damn.
I'm done. Thanks for watching. Oh, wait, you got that?
No.
There's all kinds of stuff.
There is.
I mean,
There's a bunch of...
Really, there's so much stuff in the back of the catalog, from coffee mugs to pop vinyls to just...
Oh, the
all
Green
kinds of
Lantern
stuff.
vinyl bank. If
Oh,
you've been in the
yes,
store, we've
yes.
got vinyl banks that have been very popular. They're reasonably priced. They're relatively unbreakable, so you don't have to worry about kids getting a hold of them. Also, they may be for kids, I guess. Is that who uses banks?
I guess.
But they're doing a Justice League animated Lantern bank, which should be very cool.
Yes, and should hold lots of change.
Hopefully.
So that's it. This is our preview spotlight for the month of June. Do you read previews? If so, leave your recommendations in the comments below so that other people can check it out. And pick up a copy of previews. Like I said, $3.99. Any local comic shop should have it. And it's so much fun to go through. It may make you spend more money than you want to, but you only live once, right? Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.